I am Jessica Koch. I am your host, and this is Profound Professionals. This is an interview series. If you can believe it, we've been running for almost 7 years all across the globe. We feature amazing industry experts and individuals who can help you improve your personal life or grow your business. And today is no different. I have Barron Damon, and he is a philanthropic coach. That's what it is. You got it. Philanthropic. Say that fast 10 times and see if your tongue doesn't get twisted. All right. And so welcome, Barron.
Welcome. Thank you, Jessica, for having me here. I'm so excited about being on the show today with you.
Tell us about how you become a philanthropic coach. One of these days, I'm going to be able to say that really well.
I know it's a mouthful, right?
It is a mouthful.
It is, but it's such a powerful word
Yes.
because it allows us. Philanthropy simply means it's the love of mankind.
Mm,
A big word, very simple,
mm.
right? The love of mankind. And
And
so
that can
how I
be time, talent, or treasure in
time, talent, or
space.
treasure.
Mhm.
Yes. We also like to say your head, heart, and your hope for the future. Those are the three H's.
Oh, and you should have a fourth, hands, because
Yeah,
there's so
hands.
much we can do to roll up our sleeves and just help,
That's absolutely right.
even something as simple. I remember one of the things I was able to do is just go to the homeless shelter and play cards. Just play
Yeah,
cards with the people. They just be company, be visit, visit. There a lot of times there's a lot of loneliness in that space. So you're just your own two hands, even if it's just shuffling a deck of cards or serving a meal, can
that's
make a big
right.
difference. So.
Yeah, we love to say that there's a picture that we show in a formal presentation that we do,
Mhm.
and it's hands, right? It's hands. And I always ask the question, what do you think those hands mean to you? And everybody has their own interpretation of what the hands mean. And it simply means to just serve other people, not for a handout, but
Mhm.
just use those hands to serve the best you can wherever you are in that particular time and space.
I love that. I love it. So how did this become your journey and what you do for a living? Tell us a little about your story, Baron.
Well, Jessica, how much time do we have here?
Well, the clock is not ticking. So I guess as long as it's interesting, people are listening.
Well, I can tell you it's interesting. I was thinking about this the other day, and I discovered we help people discover their philanthropic why. So I say I discovered my philanthropic why after I got a black eye. And it's interesting because I was a probably second semester freshman in
Mhm.
college. And I was headed back to my dorm. Me and my cousin were there and just left a campus party and having a good time. Life was good. And then all of a sudden, these guys came out of nowhere
Mhm.
and mugged us. I
Mhm.
mean, it was one of these very, what I call defining moments in your life where seemed like everything was going good and then something bad happens. And
Mhm.
as a result of that, I ran and the police came and had an altercation and all of that stuff. And I felt um, it was almost as if someone had robbed me in a moment of my happiness and my peace.
Mhm.
And nothing as a result came out of it, the situation with this young man. Of course, I had never seen him before, didn't know who he was, and found out later that several of those young men were going around to different college campuses, and they were just randomly hurting people, random acts of violence. And as a result of that, I ended up going home for a couple of weeks. Being a first generational student, I didn't realize how important it was for me to probably get a withdrawal. Instead, I came back, took the exams, and did terrible. I mean, terrible. And as a result of that, I just couldn't get it together mentally, emotionally, and even physically. And I wear these glasses today because of that incident. And so as a result of that, I ended up, to make a long story short, I ended up getting kicked out of school, get kicked out of college. I was on an academic scholarship. I lost my scholarship and my life just began to unravel. And I finally, the fast forward, I finally got some things together and I started an internship. It was called Stop the Violence. Ironic, right? I was a part of an internship several years later. I tried to get back in school for 4 straight years, and they said, I'm sorry, Barron, we can't allow you to come back. And my friends were moving on, graduating by this time, and here I am, still a sophomore in college or trying to be a sophomore in college. So I had this internship. It was called Stop the Violence, and Stop the Violence was helping young boys and girls who were in troubled homes. And I remember that was the toughest summer of my life because I had no plans at all to work with young people, certainly young people who were out there doing mischievous things.
Mm.
And at the end of the summer, I remember thinking, whew, finally, this is over. I am so glad I can go on to my life where I can have a big house and a nice car and this corner office. That was my dreams and goals. And then I heard this voice said, this is what you're supposed to be doing, helping these young people. And so I ended up working at an organization called Big Brothers, Big Sisters, a national mentoring organization. So I ended up helping young men and women just like the young man who hurt me.
Mm.
And that's when my philanthropic kind of career started.
So, if someone were to come work with you, because you're a philanthropic coach, what's their customer journey? What's their experience? You said you help them find their philanthropic why. Is that in a workshop? Is it an online course? Is it one-on-one? How do they go about doing this with you, Barron?
Yeah, it's a one-on-one journey, but we also work with companies. And so what happens, we have a just kind of a pre-screening, so to speak,
Mhm.
and we take them on this journey, which is pretty awesome, I would say, not just because I'm the one doing it, because a lot of people don't take the time to discover what their philanthropic why is.
Mhm.
We look at, there's so many questions that we ask concerning how did they grow up? What was their response around money? How did their family engage in philanthropy? What matters to them? What kind of values that they have? And as we go through this journey, we help them decide, this is something that's really important to me. So we began to build out their mission statement, their vision statement. We set up a strategic plan for them. I'm just like the person that you would work with as a wealth advisor, and they help you kind of build that legacy, so to speak,
Mhm.
for your family and afterwards. I do it on the philanthropic side. And so we help people create what I call live their legacy right now. And we, at the end of it, we provide them a nice donor kind of packet where it covers everything about that nonprofit. Jessica, the biggest challenge that donors have today is they don't know how to identify causes that really matter to them. And
Mhm.
then they don't know where to donate. And so that's where I come in. We do all the research for them in the nonprofits, and we educate them and empower them on how to make the right decisions, select that nonprofit that aligns with your deepest values,
Mhm.
and you can select the right nonprofit and know that your money is actually going to the right place when you want it to go. Jessica, we've all been asked before. Can you help one of my friends, this nonprofit I know about? Can you donate some money? You know nothing about that nonprofit. You don't know if someone's putting money in their back pocket. And we help with the research and make sure the nonprofit they're investing in is just like any other investment they would have.
That's good. What about helping them start their own nonprofit if they want to? Do you support them in that?
Absolutely. We have some people that we work with as a part of our team that could definitely help them start their nonprofit. There's different vehicles that we teach them. Most people use donor advised funds now, and we definitely have structured those before and know how they work because we have one ourselves. But having our own foundation also provides us the expertise to help people do that as well.
I love that. I love that. So, what's a tip that you could share with everyone uh, that they could maybe apply today so that they can become taking the steps in their new journey of having a life that really just gives to others?
Yeah, I would say I'm on this kick, so to speak, and it's called legacy gifts. And
Mm,
I think this is so important. There's different ways that we can leave these legacy gifts. One is through money, right? Donations, we're very familiar with that.
mm,
You may have gotten some money from your parents or your
mm,
uncles or aunts or somebody who left you some money, and that's great. But there's also ways such as information,
mm.
or um, for example, books. And I love to talk to people about thinking about how you can come up with these legacy gifts, something that is more meaningful than getting a gift card. You know, something that's not important. We're in the holiday season, and so many people have gotten things that they're just tossing to the side,
Mm.
and
Or
not even.
regifting, or they're
Right,
regifting.
regifting. We do it too. But it's also great when you can give that legacy gift. So start thinking about, I would tell people something that you can give that can last
Yeah.
for a lifetime. When my son turned 13, I had these scriptures laminated from 30 years prior to. And
Mhm.
I told, and they were, I mean, they tattered and all of that, but you can see them still good. I laminated them when he was 13. I gave it to him and I told him, they're only yours for a while. I want you to hand those to your son when he turns 13.
Yeah, I think that's lovely. And also just traditions, like we
Yeah,
have a lot of traditions and handing those traditions down as well. So
absolutely. Absolutely.
that's beautiful. Well, that's a good tip. Is there anything else about you personally or your business that we didn't cover before we start talking about your cause?
Well, just we also work with businesses as well. Just you think about it from an individual standpoint, but there's a lot of companies out there that maybe startups or younger companies or even older companies that really want to give back and make a difference in their communities,
Mm,
but maybe they don't have 70, $80,000 to hire a community engagement officer.
mm.
And we could be like that fractional kind of community engagement officer for them. And we'll do all the research. We'll find the nonprofits they want to support and even help them create programs if they like as well.
Yeah, and I always say that we shouldn't give to get, but it is a guaranteed side effect. One of the most strategic marketing strategies in successful, and it's there, I feel like it's the most wonderful way to do and grow business is incorporating cause into your business. You see all of the big box stores are doing it, but that cause marketing idea gives you, alliance. It gives your employees something to stand behind. It gives the community another reason to choose you over a competitor. It gives them that hero complex, and it feels good, and it just is good. Some people are like, oh, don't, they're like using the nonprofit. Well, no, the nonprofits are struggling and they don't want to have to put on another gala or another, sell candy to, the neighbors. They'd rather be supported and, almost adopted by businesses so that together they can succeed in their mission. And so it's about mindset and about how you think about it. But I really love, that idea. And it's wonderful to have a consultant like you that can help these companies structure that with a plan.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's fun because we know, just like you said, Jessica, there's a result behind it,
There is.
right? And we've seen companies actually, the employees become much more engaged.
Yes.
They give more money. We had one program that we established, and it was amazing. We had a waiting list of volunteers
Mm,
to be a part of that program year in and year out.
that's beautiful. I love that. Now
Yeah.
you have a cause. Usually we feature a cause our clients care about, but even better, you have one of your own. Tell us about how that came about and what kinds of service it provides, Barron.
Well, I can tell you, we have a lot of causes that we care about too. We have a portfolio of causes that we support, probably 10 to 12 every year.
Mm,
But one cause that we have called the BK Damon Foundation is really the vehicle to help these other causes that we care about. And
mm,
so our foundation, we have three buckets, what we say. Those buckets are, we provide scholarships to young people. And I call them scholarships of hope because we, a lot of times, are the first scholarships that these young people receive. We also provide grants, business grants, because we understand that young people, everyone is not going to college. It may not be the best fit for them, but there may be some entrepreneurial endeavor that they have, and we want to also support that. We also support missions work, missions around the world. We just had a project that we ended not long ago in Aruba, where we raised $7,000 for a ministry that helped with clothing and food and helping prostitutes get off the street. And you name it, this ministry was helping. And we're so proud of that work that we get to do every day with different missionaries around the country. And then lastly, we have a program called the Go Giver. And it's a part of this book that we love called the Go Giver. And it's really a mentoring program, and we're so excited to get started with that next year.
Well, and that's the perfect segue because I always ask our guests right after our cause what book inspired your life or helped you grow your business. So tell us a teeny bit more about The Go Giver.
Yeah, The Go Giver by Bob Berg. It's as I was reading that book years ago, I realized I was that young man in that story. I
Mhm.
was, even though I wasn't in sales, I was the guy who just wanted to make money. And that was so important. I just wanted to, as I mentioned in my story earlier, I wanted to have the big house and drive the fancy cars and all of that, just like the guy in the book. And then people decided they wanted to pour into this young man. And as a result of all of these mentors in his life, he became a go giver. Now, we want you to be a go giver. I mean, a go getter. That's perfectly fine. We want you to go after it. And I am definitely that person. But at the end of the day, I want to also be known as a go giver. And that book profoundly changed my life. We had a leadership program for young people some years ago, and we gave them that book. So we've probably given that book away 100 times over just because we believe it's a sales book, but it teaches you how to sell the kind of right way, right? And I love their philosophy and what it stands for. And we're excited to be able to promote that book because it means a lot to us personally.
Yeah, and see, for me, I've become so much more. I am in sales. That's my
Uh,
expertise, and
yeah,
I have become less of a go-getter. I've always been in the giving aspect in some capacity of my life, but now I am really my philanthropic why is, and we've already started implementing it, but not at the grand scale that I see it going one day, is really helping nonprofits and small business owners have passive residual revenue so that
yeah,
their causes and their businesses and their missions and their dreams can um, always have an influx of revenue. And there's so many ways to achieve that that I want our nonprofit to be focused on that when we establish it. In the meantime, we've just been teaching the different ways to achieve that and testing with my husband all these different investments, which we've had some amazing ones happen recently
yeah,
that genuinely do give that money over and over again without the effort. And I think, if you're smart, money will work for you. And
yeah,
it doesn't have to only work for the very, very wealthy. It can begin to work with anyone with any size amount of money. So it's a fascinating thing. So I really love that, that this is
yeah,
what you do, Barron. I think it's really beautiful. So thank you for that. And thank you for watching. And thank you for pressing that share button. You don't know whose life this will change or who it will touch or who will be inspired to do something, give something, or be someone new, or just be the very best version of themselves because they got a chance to see this show, learn about Barron, hear about some of these different tips and resources and tools that are available out there for you and for lots of others. And if you happen to be an industry expert, we would love to have you on the show. So make sure you reach out to us and share this information with others because you could be their hero and ours. And if they're an industry expert, we could feature them too. And that would be wonderful. But before we say goodbye, as we close out our show, and as always, Barron, would you share with us a final piece of information or inspiration?
Yes, I would say live in freedom every day. We live in a very difficult and challenging world, and sometimes it's overwhelming. And we just always want to remember to capture and hold on to that peace because it's the thing that will allow us to navigate and be able to contribute to others in a way that will just astound you and to them. So learn how to live in freedom every single day.
I love that. Well, as always, thank you again for watching and for sharing this with others. I'm your host, Jessica Koch. This has been Profound Professionals. Barron, I hope you've enjoyed being a guest as much as we've loved having you.
Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely loved it. Jessica, you're great. Thank you so much for your time today.
Oh, my pleasure. And as always, remember, be kind to yourself and be kind to each other. Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.